everyone, it's Heather Sparkles, and for today's vlog, I am on another cemetery adventure. Today we are checking out Erie Cemetery in Erie, Pennsylvania. I have heard all kinds of really strange local urban legends about this place, so I thought it'd be a fun place to explore. Plus, by the look of this place, it's really old, and you guys know I love old cemeteries, so I figured we would check it out. First, we're gonna try to find the Witch's Circle, and we're gonna try to find the Vampire Crypt, which are the two spots in the cemetery that have the most lore surrounding them. And then we're just gonna try to see if we have enough daylight to look around. So let's just make the most of it and try to find the two creepiest spots in the cemetery. Over here we have some really beautiful monuments, and I'm gonna have an upcoming video all about cemetery symbolism where I'm gonna talk more about this stuff, but these two are seriously so cool. So here is the resting place of Elizabeth, who died in 1843, and John Warren, who died in 1835. It's just so interesting how this is laid out like a circle. Really fascinating. What do we have over here? These look so beautiful. I'm really excited to be here right now with you guys. So here we have a marker that has what looks like two doves pointing down, which is really fascinating. Oh, let me fix this. The War of 1812. That's actually not a veteran marker that I see too often in my area. This place is so beautiful. So I should have actually looked up where exactly these two spots in the cemetery are. I was told that if you find the Vampire Crypt, which has just the craziest stories surrounding it, that the Witch's Circle is not far from there. So let's just enjoy our little walk through the cemetery trying to get there. So this is the resting place of the beloved wife of T.J. Does that say Hokanson? Died at Washington. This is in 1864, and they were only 30. So she was definitely very well loved to get a monument like this. I mean, this is absolutely beautiful. I love finding statues. So here we have a very pretty statue. This was for Helen Moore, and she died in 1898. And there's this absolutely beautiful statue. I believe that's the Virgin Mary. And next to her we have an urn that has a wreath of flowers around it, and of course there's the veil on it. Gorgeous. Oh wow, look at this one on the ground right here. So they have the hand pointing upwards, which means a belief in heaven. All right, this is quite creepy looking. Oh my goodness, look at this gentleman on this monument. Doesn't that kind of creep you out? Look at his black eyes. Is that not kind of weird? Thomas H. Sill, he died in 1856 at 72 years old. Well, I am definitely lost in this place. One thing I will say though is that this place seems to be really popular. I'm seeing a lot of cars parked here, people out here with their pet. Did I find it? Is this it? I don't think this is the Witch's Circle. No, I don't think, but it's so interesting how so many of the family plots here are laid out in a circle, which you don't see in cemeteries in my area. So this is really fascinating. So every time I come across one of these circles, I think, oh, did I find it? But I actually didn't find it yet. Is this one facing this way? Yeah, these two are facing towards me, and the other two are facing that way, and then they're facing this way, and then I think that way. Oh boy. So because I didn't come prepared, it took me a little bit to find the vampire crypt, but I finally found it, and I wanted to share with you guys some of the urban legends surrounding this. The mausoleum is owned by Gertrude Brown. The first body interred was G.W. Goodrich, who died November 14, 1884. Cemetery records show 7 individuals in total are there, but the records are incomplete. One legend states that within the vault lies the body of a true vampire. The man had journeyed to Romania, and upon his return he died of consumption. After his burial, dead bodies were being discovered in the area. Each of them had puncture wounds on their necks, and their bodies were drained of blood. A caretaker discovered what was happening. In response, the crypt was burned, the doors chained, and the name above the opening was removed. Another legend says that in the 1930s, armed with a chisel and crowbar, a young man was able to enter the tomb. He entered the tomb to discover a rotten wooden coffin that enclosed a desiccated corpse. To have proof that he made it inside, he snatched the ring from its withered finger and fled the scene before the sun rose. The boy ran to his best friend's home to brag about what he had just done. The boy swore his friend to secrecy and then returned home to go to bed. His friend could not wait to share the story with his other friends, and after school they went to his home to see the ring. They were met at his door by his mother, who explained that her son was asleep, but the boys insisted on seeing him. When she went to his room to tell him that he had company, she found her son dead. His ring finger had been ripped from his hand. The next legend states that a group of teenagers were partying outside of the crypt. They told the story of the vampire legend, and one young man mocked it by climbing onto the roof of the crypt. Something happened while the boy was on the roof. It was dark, so the group could not see him, but they heard his scream before he fell to the ground. The boy was admitted into a local hospital. Upon waking, he began to scream. The nurses heard his cries and rushed to help him. Before the nurses could reach him, though, the boy had climbed onto the window ledge and jumped to his death. No one knows who or what the boy was trying to escape from. So directly next to the vampire crypt is another family plot that's also laid out in a circle. And that's what I don't get about this place. You know, everyone hypes up the witch's circle, that is so weird, but there's so many family plots here that are laid out in these circles like this. And it's really strange how it appears that the markers are facing outward. I thought they'd be facing inward. So I'm gonna walk in between these, and I'm actually gonna go inside. This one is of E. Cook Smith, who died in 1866. And you know, I love reading the names of these people because the fact is that these markers are really all that's left of these people. And that's why, you know, I get so close and I show you guys them, because by saying their name, you're kind of like bringing them back into existence. And I think it's important that, you know, you visit these places and just say these people's names and just remember them. So in the center here of this family plot, now these people, you can see their marker names facing inward, but these people are facing outward. Isn't that so strange? How like half of it they're facing outward and the other half is facing inward. I guess it makes sense, but it's just so weird. I've never seen anything like this in a cemetery. So the sun is setting here at Erie Cemetery, and they're gonna start kicking people out. So I need to find the witch's circle before it's sundown. And we're definitely gonna be coming back here to check this cemetery out and do a more detailed tour and really look at all the different gravestones we have here. But for now, we gotta find the witch's circle, and we only have maybe 20 minutes to do it.
Okay, it's in section 34.
Okay.
So let me look up, see where section 34 is.
Is that it? That's 14.
Okay, so where we were was in 29, so 34. Okay, so along Chestnut Street, which is that road that was
10.
right near behind, the road that was behind where the vampire thing is.
Yeah.
If you look, see right here? Okay, right there is where the vampire thing is, and right down there is 34. So it's right along that main drag. So if we go up and go right.
Yeah, go up and go right. All right, guys, so we are trying to find the witch's circle. We literally have a few minutes, minutes until sunset, and they're gonna start going around and kicking people out. Thank you. Oh my gosh, guys, we have found the witch's circle. Oh my gosh, just in time too. Oh boy, okay, this is so cool. Oh man, wow. I'm actually getting goosebumps right now. All right, guys, so just in time, we made it to the witch's circle, and there is one of the blackened tombstones, and here's the urban legend behind that one. Local legend states that there was a coven of witches practicing in the late 1800s. The blackened headstones are the graves of the two who headed the coven. It is said that Satan left burn marks on the graves when he came up to drag their souls to hell. The coven members kept practicing in the circle after their deaths. The men buried in the graves of the blackened stones had fled from Salem, Massachusetts during the witch trials in the 1600s. These claims can very easily be debunked by history and science. Plus, real witches do not actually believe in the devil. This is just a story to spread misinformation and fear about witches, though it does make for a fun Halloween tale, and I did really enjoy trying to find this site. Others have reported hearing footsteps behind you when no one is there, when you're by the headstones. Another story shared by both the Vampire Crypt and the Witch's Circle is that a big black dog will attack you, though it disappears right before it bites. No one has seen this ghost dog for a while, but a real coyote does roam the area. So guys, this is not actually blackened by hellfire or pagan rituals. It's from acid rain, but it does make for a really fun story, doesn't it? I just don't really get why this spot in particular is like the spot in the cemetery, because, you know, the circle isn't really as exciting as some of the other, you know, family plots here. So there's supposed to be a stone that was eaten up by the tree. You can see this one right here was. That is so cool. So in memory of Luther Douglas, who departed this life May 14th, 1834. He was 42 years old, and he has some very interesting symbolism on his grave here. So it's kind of interesting how people think that this is the resting place of a Salem witch, when it's actually the resting place of a male who is actually a veteran. But yeah, I mean, it's not that scary in person. Like, I wouldn't look at this and have like a whole legend around it in my head, but it is a pretty cool little spot in the cemetery, and it was fun to hunt for. All right, everyone, so that was all that I could do today at Erie Cemetery. I wanted to check out the 2 urban legend spots for you guys. I gotta admit, they are pretty creepy spots here in the cemetery, but I think that it's all just silly urban legends, but it is really fun to hear stories like that and then to visit sites like that. So that's all for today's video. I wanted to thank you all so much for coming along on this adventure with me. If you want to see more cemetery videos, let me know by hitting that like button. And if you know of any weird places in Pennsylvania that you want me to do a video on, please leave your suggestions in the comment section down below. I want to go on a lot of adventures this year, and I want to take you guys along with me. So until next time, stay positive and stay weird. Bye, everyone.